Episode 104, 5 Drinks or Midnight. And on the show, we bring the questions, guests bring the drinks. We try to wrap up before midnight. Today, we got a good one. We are talking to Amanda Beckwith, lead blender of Virginia Distillery Company. But before we do, like and subscribe, hit the bells, the whistles, you know what to do. Leave a comment if you like what we're doing. Let's get started. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us. 5 Drinks or Midnight, 5 drinks, 5 questions. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Can't wait to do this.
Excellent. I'm so excited. It was great meeting you at BCB, and I'm so happy that you're joining us. So again, thank you so much. I guess first question is, what are we drinking first?
We are drinking one of my first loves, Yamazaki 12, and the inspiration for a lot of what I started to do a couple years ago. So.
Well, and again, I think, who doesn't love a good Japanese? But, like you said, what you started a couple years ago. So I think like this is, let's jump right into it, unless you have anything that you want to talk about with the, but yeah, let's.
I mean, it's a good segue because I'm in love with single malt whiskey. It doesn't need to be from Scotland, and kind of homage that this one is to old world Scottish style, kind of bridging the gap into what American single malt can be, and my vision for it. I mean, this is it in a glass.
Excellent. Cheers.
Cheers.
So question one, it's the same for everybody. It's always an origin story. But so working from admissions to an aquarium to being a operational manager at a bank, and not like a bank, but like a big bank.
Yeah.
And to now lead blender. Like, how did you get into the whiskey business? I can't wait to hear this story. So
you did your homework.
I did.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a taster, a smeller, a storyteller, and a collector of story. So, I mean, what embodies all those things more than a good single malt whiskey? And I thought it was a hobby or just a curiosity, I guess. I heard this distillery opening up in Virginia and thought, okay, going to be making bourbon, I'm sure. And I started digging around, and they were talking about making single malt, and I thought I have to be part of this. So a book club I was just doing online stuff with, had never gone to an in-person thing. They were the ones who said we should have a meeting there when they have a visitor center. And yeah, thanks to my love of reading and my love of whiskey, I kind of blacked out for a second, wrote a cover letter, sent it in, and they were looking for someone to build up a tour and tasting program, and they hired me a week later.
Nice.
It was whirlwind. And I came into the bank and was like, guys,
peace out.
I gotta go. You can message me and I'll be available for a month or two, just if you have problems, but I'm gone. And I did not look back.
You're like, here's my resume, and by the time it hit the desk, you were already gone, and like desk was packed and ready to go.
I had no idea where this would take me, but I was just so hungry to get all the information and knowledge. And I mean, there were so many generous people coming in to help the distillery get started. They were very patient and excited to share their background with me and let me work right beside them. And it was a dream come true.
That's awesome. You guys have a motto that I find very interesting, which is you let the whiskey tell you when it's ready. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we were given a huge gift. We didn't have to make a vodka or gin, nothing like that to kind of get us out the gate. We had a blended malt product that we were working on. And so we thought we can let the single malt that we're developing really come of age. So we waited half a decade before even doing our sneak peek prelude. It was a long wait, but we were learning. There weren't other climates like ours that we've matured in before. And so we wanted to see what would happen with the different casks we were experimenting with. And it is a huge gift to be able to do that. It makes my job really good because I get to get the data points. I get to be very scientific with my approach. And I mean, hopefully the whiskey will, over the years, get better and better because of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's freaking cool. I mean, I just love that like when we were stalking, I mean, researching your path, like it was so hilarious because again, it was just like, oh yeah, she's a bank manager, and then like, nope, she's into whiskey, and I was like, that's so.
Didn't look back. 8 years ago this month. Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Blender seems to be like a lot of distillers are now changing their title to blender. Like Miles did it, Nicole Austin did it. Like they're all going that way. And again, Aaron from Smoke Wagon did it. Like all these people are blenders. Americans still kind of see blender as a dirty word. Like, how do you feel about, like, again, I think that people need to get over it and like not be so hung up on labels, because again, you're making amazing juice or liquid. I hate the term juice, but you're making amazing. But how do you feel about like the idea of blender finally starting to become a good word instead of a bad word?
Yeah, it's funny because the US is so different from other countries, and I don't get hung up on titles. I don't even think about it most of the time. I think the reason there's been a big switchover is, for one thing, a blended whiskey means in most of the world multiple locations. So you get your famous Grouse, Dewars, Johnny Walker, and I see a lot of skill in maintaining a consistent product, bringing in so many different things all the time. But it can be seen as inferior in some people's minds because there's not that purity in storytelling. And I love single malt for the reason of a sense of place. So I mean, I do see that argument, but I think a lot of distillers are kind of gravitating over to blending because there are a lot more levers you can pull when you get away from just new charred oak. And the handcuffs are coming off. I mean, especially when you're thinking about single malt. So all these bourbon distilleries, they're able to finish another cask, but now that they're doing maybe an American single malt for this, first time maybe, they're having a lot of fun, and you can really develop layers that you can't get otherwise.
Okay.
And I mean, mash bills are fun. Don't get me wrong. You're still fun. All of this, you can have a lot of fun, whatever you're doing, and put your own mark and spin of creativity on there. But blending, whether it's controlling the reduction, whether it is, taking a very small batch and then growing it up, there's so many challenges. I mean, I'm obsessed. No 2 days are the same. I'll never get bored.
Yeah.
And I can see it grabbing a lot of people. And I mean, sometimes people tease me at work and say, it's art, because they know I do it very scientifically. I have so many data points. I have so many just records. I'm pretty meticulous about it, but we also have, actual things tracking and pulling data, so I can collect thermal banding and humidity pockets and temperature variations from pallet to pallet. And I mean, it's fun. It's challenging. And I think blending is, the first big thing I think about opening up for people in American whiskey right now.
Agreed. I think, blending is not a bad word. And yes, there was some terrible things that were done, but we're like, that was a long time ago.
Standards not maintained. When you put garbage in, we have to maintain that. And that's part of why we're fighting so hard to have the TC recognize American single malt as a very specific set of guidelines. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more, like a day in the life of like what you do and everything along those lines? And
well, I think a lot of the times I start out and divide my day. So morning, my palate is best. So if I need to do any sensory, I'll be up in the cask house. And it might be, just checking on things before they're being vatted. It might be hunting down a single cask. It might be, just approving a couple quick things or doing a quick blend. Prototyping is my favorite. Doesn't happen enough. It's a lot more of triangle test consistency, making sure that this batch about to be bottled is exactly where we need it to be. I have a big batting house, which I love. So in it, we have 8 tanks, and we bring in water reductions very gradually to bring the ABV to bottling proof of whichever product we're doing. And it can take months. We call it landing the plane. So I will be in there. My colleague Brian Hersey is our cellar and warehouse manager. So we work really closely together. So we will have our little confab at the beginning of the day, make our list of projects, and then we start, bringing the casks down, making sure we have the time to run through everything in a good environment, making sure the bottling team has everything they need to bottle the liquid. Another big part is planning, communication to our partners, because I need to be ordering casks throughout the year, making sure the timing is right. So not only do I need to know when it's coming, but I have to plan well in advance to know these casks are being dumped from the bodegas at this time. They'll be fresh, arranging transport, working with Brad. He is our fabulous head of all things logistics.
Nice.
And so, yeah, it's a lot of meetings by the afternoon. I might go home for the afternoon and just be on calls and do some training support, anything educational and fun for the team I'm all about. So I try to do Whiskey EDU. And it might be a fun Friday or Whiskey Wednesday, but I will set up blind things for the team to come and try, and they can come in their thoughts. I love to give them sneak peeks of things I'm working on. That's a highlight of my day for sure. Yeah, and occasionally VIP tours, things like that. But usually I'm worried about the barrels, looking at the barrels. When a barrel delivery comes, I'm sticking my nose inside the barrels, making sure that the sherry really doesn't have sulfur, that, everything is fresh, checking out the liquid that was inside them, all of that. So, yeah.
Well, there you go. Question 1. See, super easy. Train's leaving the station. Question 2, drink 2. What should we drink next?
We are moving on to my signature malts. This is from the Courage and Conviction line. It is right above my head in that blue tin, or in your little blue box.
Yep.
And this is one that really, for me, it tells the story of our maturation program, because it's single malt, water yeast barley, double distilled in copper pot stills, but aged in first fill bourbon, cuvee red wine casks, and sherry casks. So lots of layers. It opens up for hours.
Nice. Also, thank you for the samples.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
That green apple.
Yep.
Butterscotch, bright light, and then there's that cedar cinnamon coming through.
Oh, that's so nice.
And there's the red fruit.
And cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
It's so damn good. Like that, honestly, like that is. All right. Well, question 2. You mentioned it a little bit in question 1, but you guys are one of the leading distilleries in the single malt category.
Yeah.
Because now it's become such a huge, finally a thing.
Yeah.
And again, for people that single malt, they think Scotch, like we talked a little bit about in question 1, but where do you see your guys' place, and where do you see that category going?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, we're founding members of the American Single Malt Commission. So Westland, Balcones, Stranahan's, McCarthy's. There are so many incredible American single malt distilleries, and we are very much rooted in our location. So we're all about maturation. We're all about showcasing what we can do on the East Coast. I love the fact that we have our own distinct story to tell. And we're really fighting together. I think of us as a band of brothers and sisters, kind of saying, hey, America can make single malts, and now we have the big guys coming in. And I think that's great, because it's shining more of a light on it. And I think we're finally getting more recognition from just the average whiskey lover. And that's been my goal all along. People from all over the world are saying, hey, America can make really good single malts. And that was not the case 8 years ago when I got started. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Do you still get a lot of people that think they want their American single malt Scotch? They get confused a lot on that.
Yeah.
I want Scotch. American Scotch from Scotland.
Like,
There still are people who, when they hear single malt, think Scotch, and they often think peated at that. So it's like, okay, we have a couple things to dismantle. But I mean, going back to the fact that Japan has beautiful single malt, Australia, India, England, France, I can keep going. There's so much to explore, and I'm in love with all of it. So hopefully more and more people are too.
But how do you go about like educating? Like, I mean, the tastings are a thing, but like, how do you go out and educate like the American people based off of that?
Well, I had a lot of ideas at first, but one dream I had was to have an online training portal with videos that would be very interactive with quizzes, and that I could update and have refreshed and have other distilleries get involved in and contribute their own pieces and stories. And we just launched it.
Okay.
So ASM Academy is a real thing. As of this past week, it's been finally, like, we did a beta launch, but now it's out there. So anybody can take it. It's free. We'll send you a certificate afterwards, but we're hoping people start going down that rabbit hole, and we talk about other distilleries too, not just us, because we want people to learn and know. And again, rising tide floats all ships.
Oh, that's one of my favorite sayings. So that's awesome.
Me too. Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
It's whiskey fabric. We're all tied together, so let's make it strong and beautiful and truthful. Yeah.
Well, that's freaking awesome. So that, I mean, that's a good way to end question too.
Yeah.
Like, freaking easy, but damn, yeah. Question 3, drink 3?
Yeah.
All right, what are we drinking?
We are drinking the bourbon cask. We are setting to deconstruct the signature malt. Yeah, that one right there. We're kind of going back to the foundation of the maturation program we have. So aging in these bourbon barrels, we have this sort of foundation to build on. So all of our barley character gets to shine, the fermentation notes get to shine. It's not dominated by new oak. And I think that's a really good story to tell for our whiskey and also for Virginia as a climate.
Awesome. Well, cheers. Boy.
Cheers. It's so much lemon peel.
Oh, yeah.
Vanilla custard, melon.
I remember meeting Cello at a, it was, I think I wanted to see like whiskey barrel night, and he had this, and like, we were geeking out over the coins you guys have in the bottle, like, and like that was, but yeah, we were sitting there drinking that, and like, But
yeah, Cello is like my favorite human being. I love him, and he is so genuine with the whiskey love, and the way that Courage and Conviction, or just my whiskey journey, has brought people like that in. I mean, makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, he's a great dude. So much, he actually asked you a question. So our question 3 actually comes from Cello. So we'll see if you still respect him after this. But
nervous.
No, it's good. He wants to know, so you guys use only first fill barrels for your whiskey. Is there a plan to use second and third filled barrels to keep the flavor profile and the expressions going?
Wow. Yes. I've been working with second fill barrels for a couple of years now. They go through another product line that I work on. It's called Virginia Dare, and it's actually for South Korea at this time. So not available in the US.
Okay.
I'm all about sustainability. So being able to give those barrels another life. This product is lighter and more approachable for like session drinking. People go out for lunch, crack a couple of these open, there you go. So it kind of made sense, and it fits that profile better. I won't say never to using second fill for my main lines, but right now I think that's a really good outlet, and I love doing that. And then I will give barrels away for finishing programs. So we have a port and cider finished whiskey for our BHW line, and those barrels are second, third, fourth fill, because I'll give them to Laird's, Bosky, Potters. They provide our cider casks from the States, or brandy barrels. Three Notch Brewery in Charlottesville. We have a lot of fun with these programs. So yeah, they're getting lots of use.
Nice.
All about it.
Very nice. So, all right, Cello. So you kept your friendship alive. So there.
Absolutely.
a follow-up off of that, would you, like, what's next for you guys? Again, not looking for any industry secrets, but again, you guys have, this Courage and Conviction line, and like,
Yeah.
we tasted some good stuff at BCB that
Yeah.
I don't know if we can talk about yet or not, or
We can talk about that. The double
Okay.
cask reserve.
Yeah.
It's officially out now.
Okay, excellent.
It's now rolling out. Yeah, we bottled the last of it 3 days ago. So yeah, it's a real thing out in the world, and I'm really excited about that. So a little higher ABV, double cask reserve being aged in Bristol bourbon and cuvee red wine casks. And then my next up, I'm working on a project called Visionary, and it will be a small like blenders select every year, maybe just 5 or so barrels coming out, and maybe cask proof, close to it, really creative and exciting flavors.
This is my favorite question. So question 4, drink 4.
Okay.
What are we drinking?
We're moving on to the cuvee cask. This is in the industry known as STR, shave, toast, rechar, or repair. They're just premium red wine casks that have gone through this special shave, toast, slightly char process, and I love them. They're the first barrel that I really felt connected to and thought, I can't wait to play with you.
Well, so not question 4, but is there like something that you really look forward to, like playing with? Like, is there something on the horizon that you're like, I can't, again, not looking for industry secrets, but like, is there something that like, you're like, oh, this is like, I want to mess around with, X, Y, Z, or something?
Yeah, back in 2016, I got a lot of experimentals in, just 3 to 5 to 10 different casks of each type. And some I used for finishing, some I started doing primary maturation in, and it's been a waiting game. So after 5 to 6 years, I get to start pulling samples, do check-ins, and I'll tell you, there have been some crazy things we got that I just was like blown away. And some that I thought were going to be amazing. I'm like, not bad, but taking too long.
Taking too long.
Yeah. So I put it on almost every type of sherry there is. A lot of different wine, of course, but really other spirits. Had a lot of fun. And, even new charred oak, out of curiosity, back in 2016, we got some of those in. So I like learning. And if I don't have comparison points, how will I know what really works best?
Nice. Well, again, I think this follows in perfectly in with question 4. So this question actually comes from Devin. It's a 2-part question. First part is from Devin. The second part is from me. But you work with Nancy Fraley, right? He wants to know what tips and tricks did she teach you? And then what tips and tricks have you developed on your own?
I love Devin. I love his wife and his dog so much. Shout out to Cooper. I have to say, Nancy has been the biggest gift. I would not be a blender without her. She is the one who said you have a really great palate, and if you're not blending with this company, I'm going to steal you or someone else will. And when she talked to our CEO for me, I didn't even know. And I owe her a lot. And I try to pass that on and be generous like she has to other people. She taught me a couple things, but the most helpful, we talk a lot about slow reduction and things that are the Nancy Fraley technique, but I was looking for a very concrete way to grade casks on a scale that would evolve and grow. And she said she uses ABC. C, she assigns to casks, not that they're worse than B or A, but that are very foundational, that show what you would expect. So for this cuvee cask that we're working on, if you were getting dried cherry and maybe some cocoa, that could be a beautiful C. A B would be like, oh, there's blood orange in there. And I'm getting some really rich milk chocolate ganache. It's like a little more developed and pronounced.
Okay.
A would be like grilled pineapple. Where did that come from? Something like bright that you don't want a lot of in there, but a little bit to be that really interesting component and add depth. And she gave me that, and I thought this is the foundation I needed. So I built off of it, and I started assigning numbers. So 3 would be youthful, 2 would be coming of age, 1 is mature. And I've built off of that to add nuances, so pluses, minuses, zeros even. So a B2 plus is great. I'm looking for a heck of a lot of them, you know, or a B1 plus, ideal. And yeah, having those frameworks, that is a Nancy Fraley gift. And yeah, I guess I told one of my big secrets.
Oh, that's well, I was like,
to me, I'll pass it on. And a framework for working with the barrels, crucial.
now I'm gonna take Cello up on that tour, because I like being able to go through and be like, oh, this is a 1.0 whatever plus, and be like, I know what that means. So
yeah. And will it be the same in 2 months? Will it have changed? How can I predict? Yeah,
that's awesome. By the way, this is the Cuvée one is my, oh, that's so damn good.
It pairs so well with food.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, that's just, you can't just go wrong with that. But all right, so my follow-up question.
Okay.
So Nancy is known as the nose.
Yeah.
What's your blender nickname?
Oh my gosh. I have a few. I have not picked them. They've been given to me. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the ones I like the best.
Okay.
One of the first was the Mandy Lion.
Okay.
Yeah. The Whiskey Wizard. What are the ones? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because a couple of people when I was younger would say like, man, your nose all the time. And I would be having conversations with people about like this cookie and the vanilla and the cinnamon. And yeah, it's weird because as a kid, you don't think anything of it. You're just like, oh, but I wanted to get into it. And I'll tell you, my niece the other day did the same thing. She was like, I really like the nuttiness here. And she meant it. Like, she wasn't being silly. She was just really happy about the nuttiness.
Nice. That's awesome.
I might have cried. I might have called her mom. It was a thing.
That's awesome. We were like, she's gonna follow in my footsteps.
I know. She's already visited me at work once.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Yeah. I don't get the Mandy Lion one like that. That just because it's.
I think it's because, well, some people call me Mandy instead of Amanda.
Okay.
Yeah, and the lion thing.
Yeah.
Spirit animal. I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I didn't pick it.
I was like, were you blonde at one time? Like, I just never.
I did used to dye my hair some crazy colors, including bright red. But
I mean, who has? So yeah. Oh, well, if you were to pick a nickname, what would it be?
Ooh, man, that's funny. My friend Shred used to call me Manslaughter.
Okay.
Because of the shoes I wore. And it was actually like, I didn't mind it one bit. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll remind him of that. that was high school.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that works. I think that's
right? Trying to be honest. There you go.
There you go. No, it works. It's awesome. We'll jump on to our fifth and final question, fifth and final drink. What are we drinking?
This is it. This is the sherry cask. So aged in Fino, Oloroso, and Piat sherry. And I think this has gone from being, a good one to maybe my favorite that I've released to date. Maybe. Yeah, I love that we're not just finishing. This is all primary maturation, and so it's nuttier and more leather, fig, cocoa.
Yeah, this is nice. This is
that honeycomb in there. I just need some manchego cheese, and I'll be in heaven.
That is, yeah. This is, yeah. You just can't go with that. None of them. You can't go wrong with any of them. But this is still. All right. Well, our fifth final question comes down to the flip of the Whiskey Wednesday coin. You can flip it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to answer, but the coin will give us the answer. But please feel free to answer if you want. But question 5, do you wish or think you should have got into the whiskey business sooner?
Okay. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Damn straight. I mean, as you celebrate 8 years, I mean, that's like, I don't know, what is that, like 450 years in whiskey time? Like that's
I think
like,
so.
yeah.
I think so.
Like
But it's been a great ride. I can't wait to see what happens next.
yeah, it's awesome. Well, again, oh man, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. That's 5 drinks down, 5 questions answered. Thank you so much. I hope we get to drink together soon. Again,
I love that.
if you're in town with Cello or wherever, but again, I plan on coming down to see you soon because
Please do.
now with this and like now I know what your system means. Like Cello, you owe me a tour. Like so, let's yeah, you're gonna pay up. So again, thank you so much, and cheers to you, and thank you for joining us.
Bye.